Seamless Xtra as we continue to explore the latest trends and innovations in the world of digital commerce.
Hi, Larissa, and welcome to Seamless Extra. Thank you very much for making the time for this interview today. Could you maybe briefly introduce yourself to our viewers?
Sure. Thank you for having me. So I'm Larissa. I'm head of marketing at Boohoo Group. For anyone who does not know, there is fashion e-retailer. We only sell online, and I'm looking after 3 brands with audiences from 25 to 80 plus years old, both males and females. I'm looking after all marketing channels, both brand and performance, and both online and offline. Previous to this, so I've been around for over 15 years. And previous to this, I worked in gambling at Entain. Again, similar role in terms of responsibilities. And previous to that, I've been agency side. I worked on various different accounts from the likes of Google, Huawei, Microsoft. To very small startups and family businesses as well, particularly focusing on digital media. So yeah, very well seasoned marketeer. I also wrote a book. I'm an author. It's about brand purpose. So if anyone is interested, it's called Brand Purpose, Less Unicorn, More Zebra, and you can find it on the internet for sure.
Thank you very much. That's quite impressive. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you. Yeah, so first of all, I wanted to ask you, what do you consider the most significant trend in marketing over the past 1 or 2 years?
Well, I think I've got to say the magic word, AI.
Yes.
So the word that's on everyone's lips, isn't it? So I think there is definitely a trend that's not a trend anymore. That's something that's here to stay. It's been around for a while, and now it's becoming very serious because it's proving to be something very useful as long as it's used correctly and with responsibility and with user privacy in mind as well. So AI, because it can help you with a variety of things, from creative outputs and improving your creative at scale, to testing more creative, more content, to things like personalization, which some brands that are not very big might not be able to do personalization at scale, but AI can definitely help with that. And also in terms of the third point around it would be around user experience. So the sort of interaction and engagement of the user on site and with on own properties, in app, email, social media channels, etc. But particularly in terms of that user journey and how the user interacts with the brand, the sort of information the user finds, the sort of questions that can be answered again at scale and very quickly. But also the sort of in-depth information that customers are able to find with the help of AI, which is something that brands wouldn't have been able to do before, at least not at scale and not very efficiently. So I think it's definitely AI is simplifying the marketer's life, also making it complicated because there are a lot of errors. There's a lot of silliness around AI. So you really have to take it with a pinch of salt. But I think that's definitely something that's been a trend and it's here to stay and is going to grow into something very big. And for anyone who doesn't jump on this wagon, they would be missing out on some serious business impact.
Thank you. Thank you for providing that context. Now, my second question is, what are your thoughts on live stream shopping? Do you think it will become as popular in Europe as it is in China?
Well, it's a very interesting question because I've always been a big fan of it. So I think always been a big fan, as in like following it myself as a consumer, but also using it for our brands. So I think that again, the users and the consumers' expectations these days are to have genuine and meaningful engagements with brands, for brands to make time for them and to spend time with them, if you like. And there's no better way of like spending time with your customers than a live shopping event and live in general. maybe behind the scenes, how do you make the product? I don't know, all sorts of cool insights that people don't get to see usually. So I personally don't think they'll ever get as big as they are in China, because in China they've been around for so long and it's a trend that people are obsessed with it. But I think that there's been a bit of a hype with them, especially during the pandemic, if we think about it, because a lot of people couldn't get out. There were no more events. There's no more of that. So during the pandemic, those 2 years, live events really, really took off and people really engaged them. I think there's been a bit of a drop lately. I haven't seen as many, and it's a shame because I personally think they should be utilized a lot more, due to their, as I said, closeness to the customer, and opportunities to, just engage with them and gauge what they want, if they've got any thoughts. Obviously, a great opportunity to sell, right?
course, yeah.
It's great to sell, or for charities as well. So it can be applied in a lot of sectors, pretty much all sectors. So I think to the point, I don't think they're going to get as big as they are in China, but I personally hope they will revamp again after the little drop, because it's a great means of communication and it's a great marketing tool.
I absolutely agree. Thank you. Thank you for that. So my final question is, what would be the best marketing mix for a fashion retailer in 2025?
Ooh, that's a very good question and a tough question. So basically, if we're looking at what works for us in fashion, not talking about consumers, specifically for us. So the sort of channels, marketing channels that are working for us are the likes of paid search, affiliates, email, social media, not so much in terms of sales, but in terms of engagement, awareness, consideration, establishing that connection with consumers, and offline media done cleverly and done in an integrated way, that can be measured. So, for example, if you do out of home, for us it worked really, really well, because a lot of the areas where we've put the digital out of home, our target audience is. And if you add a QR code with a call to action to download the app, or a specific voucher code for that out of home, you can easily track if it had any impact. Similarly with TV campaigns, connected TV and TV, again, easily trackable these days. So I would say, for fashion retailers, the marketing mix needs to be varied, because there are so many touch points, and the customer journey is not a journey anymore. It's a mess. It's, you're seeing something there, then you're clicking there, then you're remembering it and clicking on a message, but then you see an email, so you might click on it or not, and then you see a voucher and you finally buy it. So it's literally all over the place. And I guess the more touch points across marketing channels your brand has, the better chances are for you to capture audiences' attention and convert them into customers. So I would suggest a balanced mix of brand and performance channels, but always keeping in mind that they've got to be measured somehow. And you've got to be able to create very serious KPIs for each one of them, and be able to measure those KPIs, and not necessarily compare them, because you're not comparing apples with apples, but being able to track the success of those campaigns.
Yeah, fantastic. Amazing. Well, thank you very, very much for your time and for answering all my questions and sharing your insights. And I'm looking forward to meeting you on site at Seamless Europe in Munich. Thank you very
Absolutely. Thank you
much.
so much for having me.
Thank you.